So one of the very common symptoms that comes along with a slow thyroid is constipation. This is actually one of the most common ones that I see with the clients that I work with, and it can cause so many issues because it kind of can feed off of each other. When we have a slow thyroid, we have constipation, and when we have constipation, it can make the thyroid stuff worse. So I'm going to go over with you few reasons why this is important to address and how you can do it. But if you could do me a very big favor, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you could go ahead and subscribe to my channel and then hit that bell so you get a notification every time that I release a new video. So let's go ahead and talk about poop. Not the most glamorous subject to talk about, but I wanted to bring this up because this is coming up so commonly, and this is something that I struggled with pretty badly. So bad that I ended up in the ER with bowel obstruction many years ago. Was not a fun time. So I wanted to go over with you things that have worked for me and things that I recommend for my clients. So first of all, when we have infrequent bowel movements, that means you're actually having infrequent elimination of waste from your body. So you're going to hold on to toxins and things that shouldn't be there, even like used hormones, which need to get out of the body. So that's one reason why we need to make sure that things are moving. And when we can't eliminate hormones that have been used, particularly things like estrogen, we will recirculate that used estrogen, and that can cause even further hormonal imbalances. And things like bacteria, pathogens, they can kind of flourish in your stool, which I know sounds disgusting, but it can kind of continue to ferment in your large intestine or your colon and just get even worse. And it can irritate the gut lining, cause damage to the gut lining, leaky gut can ensue, which again, another super common thing with hypothyroidism. And when we don't eliminate, you will end up reabsorbing a lot of those things that you don't want in your body. So again, I know it's not particularly the most glamorous subject, but it needs to be talked about because it can be such an issue. When we have hypothyroidism, everything slows down. Everything in the body gets really slow. And so the motility and the movement of your bowels to move the poop through, basically, to get it out is very slow. So you have to really work on addressing that. You want to keep things moving. So some of the things that I do recommend that could help with some of this, some of them you might have used before. Some things work for everyone. Some of them do not. It's just very person dependent, so you have to find what works for you. One thing that I've seen more commonly being used, and it has been working, is something called squatty potty. It's basically you're propping your legs up essentially while you're sitting on the toilet, and it basically helps move the bowels through much easier. Try to move throughout the day as well. So just movement. You know, if you have a sitting desk job, you're sitting a ton, you're not getting up very much, things can become stagnant. It can make GI motility worse. So just getting up and moving is very helpful. Hydration is so key. If you are not drinking enough water, it will not let the bowels move through. The poop will not move through enough. So you have to hydrate. Essentially, you want to drink like half your body weight in ounces. For some, that's not even enough. If your urine is like a pale yellow, you're pretty good. If your urine's pretty bright, you're not getting enough water intake in. Let's talk about chewing. When you eat your food, chew it up. Like, take your time with it. Don't rush with meals. I know that was one thing I struggled with a lot, where I was just rushing and just like inhaling my food. If it's not getting chewed up very much, it's going to go through just like that, and it's going to be hard for the body to break it down. It should almost be like the consistency of like applesauce almost when you swallow your food. So slow down, take your time, avoid distractions. You know, we're usually on our phones or watching TV or something like that while we're eating. Just slow down and take your time with the actual meal time. Fermented foods like prebiotics, probiotics, things like that are super helpful as well. I do have a list of foods that are prebiotic foods, probiotic foods, even foods that are something called polyphenols, which are in plants. A lot of times we'll see those in plants. Very helpful for gut health and just keeping things moving. So if you are interested in that, tell me yes below, and I will make sure I get that over to you. And make sure you're getting your veggies in. There's so much fiber in vegetables. They just help things move again. Even nuts and seeds can have some in it. Again, be cautious with that. Not everyone can handle that with hypothyroidism or even Hashimoto's. They struggle with nuts and seeds. So just be careful with those. If you need more help as far as supplement wise, obviously Probiotics and prebiotics are super helpful. You can get a lot from food though in those. But you might need digestive enzymes. Sometimes digestive enzymes are needed to help break the food down a little bit if you're really struggling, or if you notice, again, gross, but if you notice in your poop you have a lot of food in there that's not totally broken down, you're seeing like chunks of food, corn's one of them, you're not breaking your food down enough. And I will say a lot of people don't digest corn, so that's just a little side note. The other thing that is super helpful is something called magnesium citrate. So magnesium citrate is literally just a laxative. It's not very absorbable magnesium. We use it as laxative. So magnesium citrate is very, very helpful. There's another one called oxy powder that is another type of magnesium. It just helps get things moving. It's not something that you want to stay on forever. You don't want to rely on it, but when I work with my clients, I want them to go. I need that. I need things moving, especially while we're trying to heal the gut, heal the body, get the thyroid working more optimally. You want things going. So those are some of my favorite tips that I utilize with constipation. Again, we want to make sure that we're getting things moving because we will have a really hard time overall with thyroid function. Plus, a lot of thyroid hormone conversion, like 20%, happens in the gut. So if we are not pooping and getting things moving, the gut can get really inflamed. It's going to decrease that. So again, vicious cycle. We start having this vicious cycle where thyroid function is slow, constipation ensues, constipation gets worse, thyroid function can get worse. So you have to address both. So if you have any questions with this, let me know. If there's something that works for you the most to make sure your bowels are moving, tell me below, because I would love to know, and I'm sure there's someone else that can relate and use that information as well. And then, like I said, if you want that handout that I have that talks about the polyphenol foods and probiotics and prebiotics, tell me yes below and I'll get that over to you as well. So hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.